Hey y'all, guess what time it is? It's the Grolic Saves the World time.
All right, the Grolic saves the world.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world.
Hey, welcome back to the Grolic Saves the World. I'm Andrew Overdahl.
I'm Adam Catenholland.
My name is Ben Roy.
And this is a podcast where we try to better the world around us by maybe bettering ourselves.
Yeah, dubiously
be the
bettering
change you
ourselves.
want to force on the world. Is that how the saying goes?
I think it's be the change that I wish to see in you too.
Oh, that's how it goes, you asshole.
I'm trying to fix you guys.
17 years too late.
How are you both doing? What's new?
Why don't you go first and then I'll...
My story is that I'm reaching that age with my son where he's now starting to rebel against his dad.
And try to emancipate.
Yeah. So yesterday, I was getting on him about doing his homework that I have to do every afternoon. And he sets his phone down and turns on something he's watching and then does his homework. He thinks that somehow bypasses me telling him not to watch television.
So he's just watching TV while doing his homework?
Yeah. And so
I used to do that.
Those are
yeah,
just
I know.
good study habits.
And so I was like, turn it off, because I stood in his doorway watching him staring at his phone, not doing his homework. So I turned it off, and then I felt bad, and I came back, and I was like, listen, I know you think I'm being a peckerhead about this. And he just goes, yeah. And I was like, wait, you just called me a peckerhead.
No, you called yourself
Yeah,
a
but he
peckerhead.
didn't
You're
deny
doing
it.
language traps with your poor son?
But he didn't deny it. He said, yeah.
Milo, do you think I'm being a peckerhead? Please, please say no.
I like how sensitive yet trashy it is.
It is. So he's definitely
You
like...
set you and him up for failure in that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
You knock on the
exactly.
shower curtain you use as his door.
If I can't get off the chairlift, no one can get off the chairlift. I grab a hold of him and I take him down with me.
I'm gonna employ Andrew's badass mouth guitar skills. I'm gonna go, hey Malcolm, you think your dad's a badass? And then Malcolm kind of shreds as well, and then he's like, yeah, my dad's a badass.
And if you could set up that just
Yeah.
whenever
You're not
to.
even ready. They
pretty
learn
cool.
to hate you. And Milo,
Yeah.
he's starting to rebel. I think that's a big point where you rebel against your dad.
How old's he? 14?
Yeah, he'll be 15 in March.
Oh, that's when it really starts.
Yeah, 15.
The learner's permit rebellion.
Yeah, exactly, because he's like, I'm so close to freedom. But so it's a new development, and I'm enjoying it, because I can't wait till he tests me to the point where I get to be like, go ahead, because I'm insane.
Yeah.
Like I'm not healthy.
A real George H.W.W. situation.
Yeah.
Like a bare knuckle on the front lawn type of fucking thing.
Right in Kennebunkport, Maine, right?
You're like, get into my guard, Milo. You're just laying in the grass in your gi.
That's ridiculous. I wouldn't pull guard with a guy that size. And I'm just being honest. I'd go after his legs.
Because of his pull guard. What does that even mean?
Don't worry about
Okay.
it. Andrew doesn't know either. He's just saying things.
I know. It's in England when you try to make the guard like flinch or anything like that, and they're not allowed to.
No.
It's called pulling guard. Right?
Yeah. It's when you give a hand job to a beef eater.
Oh my God. And they can't flinch or let on they're enjoying it. They just got to take it professionally, stoically
So you went
for
to
the
Buckingham
crown.
Palace. Did you pull guard? I pulled guard at Buckingham Palace, and all I got was this lousy shirt.
Mine was more of a mouth guard. A mouth guard.
You mouth guard.
And the dude didn't fucking break.
They're amazing.
They're amazing. Those dudes are, you got to go to some sort of
Yeah.
academy to learn those stoic skills.
Well, I went to the Vatican, and I Swiss guard.
Oh, you did? You Swiss guard. That's where you come from behind in a garish yellow outfit.
Okay. Well,
Well, listen, this is going to date the podcast,
what?
That's fine.
but I don't care. Like I said before,
No one
I'm
thinks we're
breaking
doing
down,
this live.
I'm breaking down the 4th podcast wall, and I'm revealing to our listener that we banked these.
We made a
and
bunch
this could
of
be
them.
from months ago.
We
So,
started 4 years ago.
I don't know when you're listening to this.
I'm worried Trump's going to get elected.
I'm terrified about it. Thanksgiving got me thinking about this week's challenge because we did the thing at my Thanksgiving.
Eating as much turkey as we can, and then we punch each other in the stomach.
Nope, but we went around the table and did what we're grateful for.
Classic.
Whoa. You did it at your meal?
We did it at the meal.
In front of your in-laws?
I found it hacky
It
and
is.
trite and just like, come on, this is the obvious thing. But
what did everybody say? Like, was it the typical, like,
family and
thankful for
I'm so thankful
this
we're all
meal.
here. And
That's
I
kind of what
was-
I hate about Thanksgiving.
it's just
is it's
the
like the most
saccharine
American
BS.
holiday where it's like, on this day we overeat even more than we normally overeat. Like the day before Thanksgiving, I ate an entire pepperoni pizza that I folded in half like a sandwich. Like that should also be like.
Guys, we'd like to welcome
Thanksgiving.
Kyle
But
Kinane
that was
to the
just like-
podcast. Kyle Kinane over here has joined us. We should have announced we got a guest on the podcast here today. Kyle
And a
Kinane.
pizza, like a sandwich, and anyway, fell asleep in my Jeep, rolled it backwards into the river.
I like Kyle. He's got fun stories.
That's myself off, came up out of it.
Kyle eats really well these days. Actually, he's
Poured
no
the
longer Pizza
Hormel
Party
chili
Kyle.
plant afterward.
But it's like such a funny American thing. It's like, and then we celebrate how thankful we are with this feast. It's like, yeah, you're feasting like
Yeah.
every day, and
It
then
does
to sit
feel
around and say what
strange
you're
that-
thankful for, you should be thankful every day that you
Well,
have.
it
these things.
is nice to be thankful and recognize it, but it feels a little hollow when you're doing this like TV moment going around the table and everyone's like, that you're all here, that we're here, and I'm just.
I feel like
this
the
is too much.
Thanksgiving meal should be like rice and beans, unseasoned rice and
Whoa.
beans, or like the shit that they airdrop on like war torn regions, like just the worst, just like flavorless fucking Pop Tarts.
Why?
Like shit, so you could be like, wow, I'm so thankful I don't have to eat this like all the time.
I agree. And a man should come in your house and cut you a little bit with a knife. And you're grateful that doesn't happen every day. This man just keeps kind of coming in every hour and just like, just giving you a couple of them.
What is wrong with you? So, UN rations,
Man cuts you.
man cuts you.
I didn't say the man cuts you. That was your
What
thing.
else, Ben? How else?
Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire on a constant loop at Andrew's house. I'm so thankful I don't have to watch this every day. No, it's my favorite of the holidays because to me and I'm different. Listen, every culture has feasting holidays. That's just ubiquitous on earth. Although most don't have food all the time,
Right.
So it does feel silly to have a feasting holiday, as you said, when we're folding pepperoni pizzas on the reg. I doubt that's the first time. I doubt that was the first time in
honey.
the kitchen
Oh, honey.
where you were like, "This can be folded to get into my mouth quicker."
Just the roof of his mouth so burnt.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's still going at
got
it.
very scratched
But
up.
it just feels like when you have people
Captain Crunchmouth.
together,
Yeah.
and if it's friends especially, and you're like, everybody just contribute a dish, come over.
Yeah.
We all just sit around and
The
hang out.
Friendsgiving is the way to go.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
But the hallmarky, like, what am I thankful for? I mean,
It's nice, but there's a level of bullshit about it. So I thought that this challenge, what might be better to do, is something that my wife does every single night.
okay, let me guess.
No, it's not what you think.
What it isn't where she, is that?
What is he doing?
I know he's making some sort of sexual.
No, what?
Yeah, but
oh,
what
the
was it? It
whistle
was
is
like-
innuendo.
Yeah.
I want to know what the innuendo was.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like a,
has tea. Has
Oh.
tea.
but no, there was also like a weird little like
hand
finger-
motion.
Yeah, like he's like a
she-
baggage handler backing the cart in to the plane. What are you doing over here?
She emails a friend of hers
Yeah, and they
3 things
over email
that she's grateful for.
Oh, okay.
She does that with a friend, and they've done it for years. And it's
Every day.
every night before she goes to sleep, she's like, I got to do my gratitudes. And she sends them to her friend. And she does 2 friends she does this with. And I think it's just her way of being appreciative. But I was asking her why she does it because I thought of it for this challenge. And she said she does it to be appreciative of things, but also to sort of like, you can often pull yourself out of a shitty day sort of by being like, well, even with the shit, I appreciated this moment today.
Right.
And she just told, and I said, well, do you every day? She's like, a lot of them are you and Malcolm, but it's you find yourself being appreciative for small things, like a person letting you in traffic is like a nice thing.
I could see that if you know you have to do this that night, you may keep your eyes open throughout the day.
Exactly.
It's still saccharine and kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But maybe
it's
that's
more original.
Just a cynic in me.
I mean, I'm a cynic as well, big time, but it's more original than the Thanksgiving around the table. I'm grateful for you in this moment bullshit.
And it's always, like, I'm grateful that we could come together as a family.
Right.
Obligatorily. Because we would
Exactly.
guilt trip one another if we didn't.
And the calendar says to.
And I love my family. I'm happy to be there with them. But
you're a big family person.
I am.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm coming off as anti-family, but the obligatory
is.
nature of it is what bothers me, I think.
We've never done that. My family has never sat and said what we're thankful for. I can't imagine getting a gratitude letter from, even though my dad, they're loving people. They'll say, I'm proud of you. And I love them to death, but I feel like being around them, this is going to be a tough one. Like trying to find I'm just not good at that.
But I don't know why. I just thought that it's cool that Katie does this, especially in juxtaposition to the forced holiday moment of giving gratitude.
It's very, and I don't mean this in a negative way, it's very Katie-like. Your wife is a very sweet, thoughtful. That can sound negative when I say Katie-like. It's very like
it does sound a little weird.
Yeah, but it's very much, like your wife, she's very thoughtful.
Well, and I also think for her, it's a way of choosing positivity. You know what I mean? It's a self-helpy thing, and that's what this podcast is.
Yeah.
I did a version of this. I put a long list on my fridge, and it was like a thanks list. And that every day I tried to write something on there. So I'd write my dogs, and I would write Amelia, and I wrote board games. And at the time I was dating this woman, and then I put her name on there, and then she came over to visit, and she saw her name on
She
the
was
list,
after
and
board
she
games?
she was under board games, like 7th on the list, and it brewed a heavyweight battle of fighting.
That's amazing.
I was like, as things come to me, I put it on the
I literally
list.
put a list of things I'm grateful on, and you don't like the order.
Yeah, so that backfired.
Okay.
Pretty
It is
spectacular.
bizarre that she wasn't higher on the list.
It was just
I think
an
she should
in
be
the
happy to
moment
be on the
thing.
list.
It was an in the moment thing. It was.
But if he's doing it daily and he's like, I got to think of a new one today, board games.
Nah, I'm Team Andrew on this one. You're
It
an
was
idiot.
just-
You're dumb.
I
You're
was like,
stupid.
hey, you're
Imagine.
on the list.
I
The
just
ranking
You're
can't
is
imagine.
important.
You are a dumb man.
At least you're on the list, you know.
Right, I agree.
In hindsight, I should have taken the list down before she came over, but
Yeah.
live and learn.
Yeah. Well, you should make a new list that says, I'm thankful I don't have a list on my fridge anymore.
There was also another
Thankful
list.
I don't have a girlfriend.
Still got my board games.
Yeah.
I like to put my dick in that now.
I'm just picturing right next to it. What Andrew didn't let us know is that right next to it there was a list that said women to date, and she was one, and it was crossed off.
Yeah,
And there was a bunch
that
of
also
other names.
backfired. I
Yeah.
thought, it, it's romantic. You were on my list of top 50 women to date. All right.
Yeah.
So,
well, this
so
is
I think
okay,
the challenge is that we just what my wife does every day for a week. We think of 3 things that we're grateful for.
Gratitudes.
Gratitudes. We write them down.
Cue the Beastie Boys song. That's a great bass line.
Let's make a rule for this as well. These should be they
should
shouldn't
be
be very
creative.
broad.
They should be creative.
Yes. Let's
I don't want to
get-
hear family. I don't want to hear about your kids.
Agreed.
I don't want to hear about your wives.
If it's a Thanksgiving platitude, thank you. Toss it out.
Yes, you get
Because
whacked
we all
with the
know that.
spatula.
Because
I'm
you'd
very
better be
grateful.
thankful
I'm
for
grateful
that
for
shit.
all those things,
Yeah.
and I hope my family knows it. But like these are more obscure, small things that you noticed and we're grateful for. And my hope is that personally, it makes me slow down and like be in the moment of like that was cool.
I get it.
I'm not anxious. That was cool.
I can get behind this challenge if we agree it's not those like.
It can't be.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think what will be cool about it is seeing what it is that you actually stopped and paused and thought about, and ditto for you. It's just kind of seeing what our brains
All
pick
right.
up.
Okay.
So we
that-
email each other 3 a night.
Well, but I wonder.
or text each other 3 a
Here's
night.
my thing, and I thought about this. If we text or email each other, it's going to turn into jokes. Because any text chain we have inevitably gets funny. Any email chain, one of us will be like, I'm grateful for that jerk sesh I just had. It'll be it'll be less
But
sincere.
what happens if it is a jerk sesh that I'm...
Then I want it sincerely presented after a week,
Okay.
rather than in an email form. So I think we should just come maybe with our top 10 that we found most interesting, like in a week.
so we don't share them.
We don't
nightly.
share them because I just feel like inevitably that will turn into like us being smartasses and joking around.
And this show is not about that.
I really...
For the challenge, it isn't.
I think what we do is you can do
And
it
if
in
there's
a
one thing
journal
this podcast-
on a piece of paper.
Andrew, I'm tired. This guy's been giving me sass all episode.
I'm fine if you
And
if
I'm
you hit
thankful
it.
for it.
Okay, so
this guy.
here's what I think.
really testing
Here's
my
my
last
proposal. We just write them down. I think you just write the day and the date, and then you write your 3.
Yeah.
and we can bring them in.
Yeah, pull up your Google Calendar,
the
jot them
challenge.
down on the calendar.
I don't know what this will do for us. It seems that my wife seems to really enjoy it. Like I said, I hope it causes one to slow down.
I liked it when I had the list on my fridge. I thought it was like a positive exercise.
sounds like
until it
horse shit,
backfired
but
on me.
It
and
sounds like
created-
new agey, self-helpy stuff.
It's always
but,
good to be
But
thankful
some of that
for
stuff
things.
is good for a reason because it is that.
And I feel like as Americans, we're like the least grateful
Not
culture
all,
on
I
earth.
get what you're saying. I've been perineum sunning, so I've been tanning my perineum.
Perineum?
Is that what is that? What?
That's the
It's
that's
taint
the
area.
grandle.
This is an article in like the.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Was
Yeah,
that big?
I've been sunning. Oh man, I can shoot further than I've shot in a long time. And I don't know if it's the heat and they want to get out of there, but it's really.
Where is this even coming from?
So I'm saying not all new agey stuff is bad.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you were
Got it.
going.
Got it.
And my rectum now, there's a real hue. There's a good tone
It's a
gradation.
deep ochre,
Yeah.
like maybe a sienna.
But what I'm worried about is that it's going to damage the tattoo.
You're going for walnut, though. You're going for a
I'm
walnut
trying to
stain
get-
on
if
there.
I could get to
You're
walnut.
so gross.
Well, that's something you can be grateful for. That's first on the list, Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You know-
here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go away on our break, and we're gonna every day write 3 things that we're grateful for. They are not gonna be overly platitude type,
Right.
like cliche garbage. We're
Right.
gonna really try to be specific, and then we're gonna come back after the break when through the magic of podcasting, and we're gonna share some of our observations that we had.
Our
and,
top gratitudes.
and
Gratitudes.
and
maybe
top
10.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
and talk about whether or not we actually noticed any difference.
Right.
In the meantime, why don't we do this? The last Saturday of every month, Denver, Colorado, the amazing world-renowned Bug Theater. We do our live show.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you have a clip of live comedy ready?
I would love to.
You're going to play it now?
I'd love to hear it.
Okay, well, why don't we do this? Let's cut to some live comedy.
I love live comedy.
Get out of the trenches of tedious tasks like managing order fulfillment and start growing your business with ShipStation. They'll help increase profitability by automating your workflow with their simple, easy-to-use dashboard. With it, you can pretty much do everything you need to quickly and easily. Update order information, print labels, compare rates, optimize shipments, and even set up automatic delivery notifications. And it doesn't matter where you sell. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, ShipStation can integrate pretty much anywhere online. Another great thing about ShipStation? They can help reduce costs with industry-leading discounted rates from some of the biggest mail carriers. You might even be able to get up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. So, make this year your most profitable one yet. Sign up for your free 30-day trial at ShipStation.com and use the code Spotify. That's ShipStation.com with the code Spotify.
It's fun to have fun. Look, I'm here to giggle and wiggle, all right? Not in that order. When in doubt, rhyme it out. That's what I say. That's a hot trick for comedy, all right? Another thing, pretending you're in a Dickens play. You boy, what day is it? Huh? You don't know the day? What's the matter with you? She knew the day. She's whispering. Ladies love to whisper. Went to Europe with my wife, who's a total smoking hot babe, all right? Yeah, they've seen the webcam. They know about it, all right? We need the tokens. Med school's expensive. I'm married to a banging doctor. Yeah, it's not good. We go to the beach, she looks like my handler. You know what I mean? It's like, they're not married. She's just here to make sure he doesn't eat too many birds. Oh, yeah. Whenever she's not around, he just starts digging holes, you know? God. Went to a nude beach in Spain. She dumped him. She dumped him fat, all right? She's got a big old fat stack of natties, this gal. God damn. She was plopping right there at the beach. You know, it's fun to see an old perv look at your wife's tits and like look over the sunglasses like, oh, you know what I mean? Just a little bit of Save Ferris, just whining, a little bit of that. That's a fun thing. That's like, hey, brother, game respects game. But you know what's a good time? 4 11-year-olds circling her nude tits. That's how you know you're married to a pair of bazongas. You're just literally like a flock of horny birds. They would just, how many popsicles do you need, Emilio? What are you doing? Does little Emil have a calcium issue? They were just circling, pointing. It was great to watch a child get his first boner at your wife's rack. Now
that was Sam Talent, Denver Treasure, Sammy T. So funny.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He came right from the airport. He was deranged. He was so tired.
But that's
he just
like
hopped right up and
that's
did it.
prime Sam Talent.
Yeah,
that's
what-
how you want him.
That is how you want him.
Right, wrangle him directly from the airport. Delusional.
Put a microphone right in front of his
Hasn't
mouth.
slept in 78 hours. Go.
So funny.
So good.
Andrew,
Yeah.
this is the second half. Start the music.
Dude, I love this song.
He's so good at
He
it, too.
is.
Thanks.
It's like a
It's hard to
heavy
do that sound.
fuzz distortion
Yeah,
on it.
I probably could have done better.
Ah, dude, don't
Take two?
sell yourself short.
No, that was
ruled.
good, man.
All right.
That was really good.
Really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, we took
it's
a
week
gratitude
later.
break.
Magic of podcasting.
I call them Gratitoodies now.
Yeah, you call them.
You called them tooties.
I asked
or-
Ben how his Gratitoodies were coming, and he's like, I don't call them that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what you were talking about at
You knew
first.
exactly what I was talking about. What else could Gratitoodies possibly mean?
I had totally forgot about it, and I would prefer we not ever call it
It's
that.
a Nickelodeon cartoon, Gratitude.
The Gratitude.
The Gratitoodies.
They live in a bush.
Gratitudes.
Again,
No,
always
it's always to the-
cadence when we go to any song.
Yeah,
we
well,
have
it's
I
the only
feel
song.
like
branch
you-
out. You're the songwriter of
Yeah.
the group, and it's always this.
But I
fucking,
do every.
Gratitoodies. It's like the Michael Scott of improv, but for music.
Right. He makes the same choice every time.
Yeah.
It is a good choice, though.
It's a great choice.
This challenge was hard for me, and I thought it'd be so easy. I was
Really?
like, this is an easy one. This is like a softball,
Why was it hard for
easy
you?
choice. I guess I just had a really cynical week. It'd be time to make my list of gratitudes, and I don't know, it was just feeling.
Fuck this.
Yeah, I kind of had to like really do the work to make myself do it.
It's kind of like I was thinking comedy, it's way easier when you're starting comedy to just get up there and complain about shit and be like, I'm mad about this. I hate this. And then at some point, hopefully, as a comic, you have a shift where you're like, I'm going to talk about stuff that I like a little bit on stage, because otherwise you're just this ranting comic.
Yeah, I actually found it to be easy, and I found that I would forget about it until the last minute.
Right before you go to bed.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it would cause me for the last few minutes I hate even saying this because it feels to think about the good things.
There you go,
and
man.
No, I don't
Things
like,
sound it's cheesy, but like
it is fucking cheesy.
it's only cheesy because it's become cliche, and it's only cliche because it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess so.
this is part of Adam's seminar. It's only cliche because it works.
I'm telling you.
Well, we had talked about bringing some of our favorites to the table,
Yes.
our top ones, things that really we think stuck out to us out of the lists. Andrew actually went to the effort of doing a top 3. You made your top 3, right?
I thought we were supposed to make a top.
None of
3.
us knew the rules.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm over
I
here
made
with a
the
list
rule
of like
top
3 or
3.
4 a
Yeah,
day.
why don't we each give our top 3?
Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
you've got a scintillating number 4.
Oh, these are so good. You're gonna find out that I'm a
One
poet.
of mine was potentially one of mine on the list was I'm thankful I'm going to get to give 4 ideas at
Well, then,
this.
all
and
right, you can.
All right, Ben can have a 4th.
Jesus Christ.
Should we do 1, 2? Like
It's cool that you
one in a
were
row?
laying there before bed with your cup of tea.
See, he was in a salty mood this week. You should. You can bring a gripes list. Instead of gratitudes, you can bring your
That
gripes.
doesn't sound like it would improve.
That's what you do every
Myself.
time we hang out anyway.
Hey, hey, this isn't about being mean.
Okay, so
All right,
why don't
start
you
it
start?
out, Gratitoodie.
Yeah,
All right. I worry that mine might seem cliche.
Well,
'cause
you'll
they
hear
are.
it if it is.
yeah. We're gonna make fun of you, you fucking dork. All right, let's do it. What's your first?
All
one?
right. My first one it's kind of ridiculous. At face value, it would seem like it's
Will you stop apologizing and tell
Just-
us what you're
yeah,
grateful
just-
for?
no, because
do
you have
it.
these like predatory looks. It's like not
we don't
like
have
sharing.
spatulas in our hands.
It's not. You have your verbal spatulas in your
No,
hands. You're
God.
ready.
Well, only because I'm about ready to flip over this awesome intellectual omelet I'm making.
Got to crack a few eggs.
It's only a cliche because it works.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, my number one. They're not in any order of the top
Oh
three.
my God! Preamble
Andrew
with
is
this guy.
fucking
I'm on the edge of my fucking
I'm
seat.
grateful.
wrote this, Ben Frank.
Well, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, this sounds pretty ridiculous. I'm grateful that
Oh Jesus Christ!
that long ago, dogs and people became friends.
That's a great one.
That is
That's
so
great.
good.
At face value, it'd be like, I'm grateful that we have dogs and people like dogs. But that is pretty weird. I can't think of any other animal that people have teamed up with on the same level as dogs, where it's like, oh, I've got this companion. I think of them as like my friend, and we can kind of
that is
communicate or
almost-
whatever.
It's
beautiful.
almost poetic.
It's beautiful. It's
I read
getting
an
to the
article-
origin of why you like dogs, and you're appreciating your dogs, and that's nice.
And I read an article. It was like the cynical article that explained that dogs are actually just a parasite. And
Was
Yeah.
it written by Ben Roy?
They are. They.
'Cause that sounds
They-
like
they-
something
they
he'd come
fit
at us
the-
So
with.
dogs
Oh,
became.
here we go.
Just hear me out.
I've read the
Malcolm.
article. I've read the
It's
article.
when humans started accumulating trash, because we went from hunter-gatherer to an agrarian lifestyle. We started stockpiling
For
food.
what it's worth, I never stopped hunting.
And there was
Here we go again with this paleo
What?
diet bullshit.
I'm gonna-
It doesn't count.
Humans
It's
did.
not.
I didn't.
It doesn't
listen,
count getting it
and
at Whole Foods.
You've been sick almost every week
I'm
since
fine. I'll find some.
Can't
meat
eat that
soon.
much dried
I'll
meat.
find some meat soon.
He's got bone broth in that goddamn water bottle.
You can't keep drinking squirrel bone broth.
Enjoy
and
your
survive.
beans and lettuce.
But if you're going to
I'm
be
out
that
there.
cynical, I will say, if you're going to be that cynical to think of dogs as a parasite, then you should just go ahead and be that cynical and think of your fellow friends as parasites in your life, your family members as parasites in your life. By that definition of like
Sure,
they're getting
except
something.
that doesn't really make any sense because we're the same species and we rely on them for mating. You know what's funny about that argument, Andrew, is that if humans are born and they don't have contact with another dog, they don't become like malnourished and underweight and underdeveloped. But if they don't get the touch of another human being, that does happen. We are 100% integral to the survival of each other. We're not dogs. Dogs survive off us. Thank you.
Okay.
That's been
That's his
that's
talk.
been your
We're not dogs.
Gratitude.
That's been
You
your
fucking
neighborhood
asshole.
community college anthropology course. You no need to attend tomorrow. That's the lesson. All right, that's so you're happy that dogs and humans became friends. I think that's nice. All right, Ben, how about you? What's your first one?
My first one, it feels so stupid. But I'm happy for dry socks after having worn wet shoes for most of the day. I hate that I
It's so charming.
It is charming.
No,
Ben's above tree line. He's 10,000 feet up in the mountains, and he's
No,
kind of
it's
those
hoofing
warm
around.
wool-
It's been
Always out.
we got the snow and I wear low top Vans.
How long have you lived in Colorado? Jesus.
I left for a while and I don't like wearing boots. I just like to wear shoes. And the other day they got so wet. I did that thing where you step off the curb, but you step right into like slush and shit. And it got all the way up to my ankles and my pants. But I had
The
somewhere
opening
to go.
credits of your sitcom.
Yeah.
It's called warm socks for wet shoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
It's on CBS.
It
Sorry.
is. You weren't supposed. We're in pilot phase right now. Don't you know this is delicate?
It's on the Hallmark Channel. Ben signed post-protest, too.
But I had to wear this wet shoe around for the whole day, and my feet get like, irritated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
bad for-
terrible.
it's bad for you to
You
have
know,
white socks.
no one
Just
ever.
throwing this out there, you could have a pair of boots that you wear for inclement weather, and then put your Vans
This
back
is
on
a,
when it's
a
like
stunning
van
revelation.
weather.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
wearing boots either, but I
I could
have
also
them.
be a fucking nerd, but I look cool as.
nerdy to wear boots
all
in
the
the
nerds
snow?
wear boots in appropriate weather.
Dork slush. You're just walking out with your fucked up
Yeah, snowballs.
fucked up Vietnam War feet.
I did get like this trench foot type thing for the day, but there is nothing better than taking your foot out of that and taking your foot out of a wet sock. And I'm just grateful to have like a clean pair of socks to pull on. And I made a noise and it was just enjoyable. And I know it's silly and like, but I was trying to aim for the minutia of things
No,
that I don't
love
think
that.
about.
I love
and,
that.
and so I was grateful for dry socks.
Man, if I often say, there's nothing better than a brand new pair of socks. If I had infinite money, I would wear socks once and throw them away.
Like Steve Jobs of socks.
Yeah, exactly.
Soccer likes it.
All right, well, my first one plays off of your storm. I found that a lot of mine made me appreciate Denver more. The city where I live more.
As if anybody had any question of whether or not you
No,
appreciated
but I often,
it.
like lately especially, I'm getting fed up. It's like the growth. I bitch about Denver more than I embrace it these days. But with that storm, in Denver, when there's a storm coming, you can smell it because it blows in the smell from the stockyards up north,
Yep.
or sometimes it blows in the
cow manure
smell from the dog food factory. And
Either way, it's delicious.
but you know a storm's coming when that like horrible smell drifts in.
I like to think
Yeah.
there's
the
some
front
weather
range.
sommelier who can really tell, like, not that low pressure. That's more dog food than cow shit.
But I can. I wanted to get into that because it's like, which one's which? Like, if it's dog food, which it means it's coming from Commerce City. If it's cow shit, it's coming from Greeley. I don't know. I don't understand
Yeah,
weather.
yeah.
You're
systems.
just going to want to put that in your real estate
It
listing.
smells
more than
like
anything.
irony or hypocrisy. It's coming from Colorado Springs. The regional
what a
burn.
junk on Colorado Springs.
More of a bullshit
the
storm.
armpit of Colorado.
So anyway, I'm grateful for that because it's kind of this like simple prairie thing that we still have in 2019 with as crazy as our lives are. It's still, you stop and you're like, it smells like a storm's coming
It's
in.
still a cow town.
It's still a cow town. As big as it gets, you still and if you're from here, you kind of know what that is. I'm sure the 19-year-old on the scooter downstairs like smells weird and like crashes into a building. But like,
We can only hope.
but when you take your time, you're like, oh man, I think a storm's coming, and then you watch it come in, and it's just, I like that. It's small town Denver. And
Yeah.
I like that.
No, that's a very astute, simple observation of the city. It's something that it does that we all forget about.
Yeah, it is cool being able to, and I learned this when I was bike messaging, kind of just being able to tell weather just by like paying attention to the world instead of using like a phone or an app. You can just
Yeah.
be like, it feels cool on like an instinctual level.
My belly button turns from an innie to an outie when the barometric pressure gets too low.
That's because you're full of cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I think there's a storm coming in now.
Boink! Look at him. There it is. Adorable.
It hurts.
Oh, it hurts?
Yeah, it's not good.
You should probably see a doctor about your weather system bowels.
That is a good one.
Your
All right, that was
I
my
forgot
first
about.
Your
Okay, good.
pressurized bowels.
Andrew,
Okay,
it's time for your second one.
I actually just called an audible, and I'm moving up a minutia one
Ooh.
because I just remembered it when you were talking about this. I saw so there's a lot of homeless people in my neighborhood. It's very dispiriting. I see a lot of homeless people, but the other day I saw this homeless guy with a cart. Remember when you were a little kid, and maybe you do this as an adult. Sometimes I do this as an adult. And you're pushing your cart, you give it a couple good pushes, and then you jump onto that
Oh,
bottom rail.
fuck
You
yeah.
just go for a ride.
Absolutely.
You know, it's fun.
I'll
and
do
it
that
feels
in the
good.
parking lot to the
Yeah.
grocery store still.
I do it with Amelia. Amelia stands on it. I push it, and I shoot us both down
That's
to
just
Costco.
fun. It's just fun.
This homeless dude had a cart laden full of shit. Saw him do that in a parking lot. Gave it a couple pushes, and then he
And
was
then
just
rode it?
like on for the ride. And it made me like so weirdly happy that this guy it can't be. I know firsthand it can't be easy. But snowy, cold Colorado winter, homeless dude in the midst of it, he's still like.
Still having fun.
Still has that brief moment where he's like, "I'll go for a ride
Because
in my
it's
cart."
kid-like. We've loved that since we were fucking kids. Like,
Yeah.
doing that is the best.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's like, that should be a scene in a movie or something. That's great.
Yeah. I remember doing it once in a supermarket with the cart full of groceries. I vividly remember this, and tipping it all the way back. Like it fell and it came over the top and it spilled everything. And my dad standing in the middle of the supermarket laughing hysterically at it.
I love that. I would be very grateful if I saw that homeless person.
Yeah.
Fun riding their cart.
Somebody just reminds you that person was a normal kid at one point who probably did that going to the grocery store.
It's a universal thing.
It's a moment of light in a probably pretty dark existence for that person currently. It's nice.
Yeah. This is a hard one. I'm grateful.
Potpourri on a rainy day.
I'm grateful to have witnessed petty theft that I found so oddly pleasing. Petty theft. I'm grateful.
What'd you witness?
So about a week and a half ago, I was walking into King Soopers to the grocery store. There was a car with its door open, and there was a woman sitting with the door open. It's winter, and she's, they look like they don't have a lot of money. The car's beat up. The door's open. She's kind of disheveled, and there's a young little kid in the back seat with his arm around the armrest, like hugging the back of it, talking to her. She's just smoking a cigarette.
Good family.
And there's a plane going by, and she goes, "Look at that. It looks like it just took off from the airport. It's taking off, and it's going up. Look at." And he's like, "Wow." And the little kid is like, "Where do you think it's going?" And I'm not joking. It was like a novel. She's like, "Who knows? Could be going anywhere." And then she stood up and walked across the parking lot to the front of the store, put her arm through 3 of the wreaths that are outside that you have to buy, and then walked back to the car without paying for them. And I just stood there and laughed, and I was like,
where do we live? Buffalo, New York?
Yeah,
That's
where do we
amazing.
live?
it was
That's
like
amazing.
one of those stories where I was almost like, should I? Nah.
Yeah, that's a Christmas miracle. You don't get in the way of that.
But it was like this moment where I was seeing the flashback, like in an indie movie where a guy is remembering
exactly.
his childhood with his
Exactly.
eccentric mother.
That's
And
amazing.
he's like, my mom
Stole wreaths. What's the resale value on wreaths?
When I saw this woman, it was the most poetic moment. I honestly thought it was when the kid goes, "Where do you think it's going?" And she goes, "I don't know. It could be going anywhere." I almost
And
let
cut.
out like a guffaw, like, "Come on, that's hack."
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
too
Like,
perfect.
It's too perfect.
Yeah.
And then as I was sitting in the car, because I
Who
had
knows?
just got
Planes
back
go all sorts of places these days.
So I got back to the car and I was sitting there and I just watch her as she's very slow and just slunk her arm through a bunch of them and looked around and then walked with an armful of wreaths back to the car. And I was like, fuck yes.
God
So, anyway,
bless us, everyone.
I'm grateful for that.
That's great. Okay, I was going to the gym and there was a dude on the corner flying a sign, like flipping a sign around. And he had brightly colored dreadlocks and he looked like a tweaker. And I happened to stop at the red light there.
Sorry, just to clarify, is this someone with an advertising sign?
Yes. It's not a
Okay.
homeless person with a
thought,
sign.
yeah.
It's
All
some
And-
kid they're paying
Yeah, okay.
with the big, like, move into this giant condo unit.
Right. And I think we
sign.
should use the politically correct term for tweaker, which is SoundCloud rapper. That's what you just described.
He's a SoundCloud rapper.
Okay.
And so I stopped at the intersection and watched this guy, and he was like doing all these very clubby dance moves, and like literally at one point getting on one hand and kicking his feet up into the air, just going
Whoa.
for it. And I went from annoyed to delighted in the course of one like red light change. And then I went up, and it was right outside the gym. So I went up to the gym, worked out, and watched him for an hour, and he did not take his foot off the fucking gas. I don't know if he was on drugs or what, but one of the reasons I brought it up is because I filmed it for our Patreon. It is the most incredible.
He's high on mattress sale, bud.
Right.
You don't get
I mean,
it.
he very
He believes
well-
in the message. He's these condos.
I've seen him several days in a row now, and I mean, he could very well be on drugs, but it was out.
Or God.
fucking
Or he just-
Two
insane.
of them do the same
Or he
thing.
just maybe it's a workout. For
It's
him.
the hands down the best. I'll show
I
you guys.
saw
I'll show you guys
the-
afterwards. It's hands down the best.
I saw the Russian
sign flap
doll
I've
of that
ever
in my neighborhood. I saw a guy doing the sign advertising, busting those crazy moves. Guess what he was advertising? A sign flipping business.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
mind,
the Ouroboros, not our
mind
jujitsu.
exploded. Yeah. I gotta say, I like the picture we're painting of Denver, where the cow shit dog food factory washes over the wreath stealing piece of shit.
See, the
As
city
the-
doesn't change
As
that.
the
Whoa,
hobo rides
dude,
his
he-
cart.
As
For
the
real, just
tweaker
did
goes
like a
for it.
full hands.
Yeah.
Spring.
That guy's like the Eddie from Tekken of sign flipping.
Unreal.
He
This
does
is
like
like-
a one-handed cartwheel
It's
in the
like
middle
his
of it.
own self-defense.
And the way his dreadlocks are, it looks like a court jester hat. They go off in every different
Sure, that's
direction.
probably intentional.
He's that
Holy
into it.
shit.
If you want to see this guy, I took multiple videos. We'll post it on the Patreon.
And I have a genuine. And if anyone knows this guy, we'd like to chat with him.
he could
first
be
of
our
all.
first guest.
But also, I'm curious now, and if any of our listeners know the answer to this, do you get more if you can deliver the goods like this guy's? If you can go in and be like, you're not just hiring a sign flipper. Any dipshit can hold a fucking wooden arrow that advertises these condos. I'm giving you the flips. I'm giving you
Yeah.
the car wheels.
Right, like they call the low-end guys, like that guy's just a flipper. You know what he is?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's not
A little
that's
hip
not-
shuffle. No. Bring in Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring in
talk about a
Brian.
movie scene. Like, imagine that you're a guy and you pay a kid to do this, but then you drive by this kid, and you're like, and then you go and ream the kid
Yeah.
you've hired.
You're just standing?
no wonder no business is coming in.
Oh my God.
And I was proud of myself.
I mean, they can't make that much money, but if you're doing that shit,
I know.
do you then demand like you $30 an hour
For the
because
entire-
people are going to stop and watch me, motherfucker?
I mean, it got my attention.
better than any billboard. You fucking filmed it from the gym.
Yeah.
What other advertising have you ever filmed from another location?
No, for sure. And I was proud of myself because my first reaction when I see shit like that, I was like, God, like huge eye roll, fuck this kid. And then I just fell in love with him. And now I'm really a huge fan of this guy.
yeah.
If you see him again, we should like chat with him.
I feel like
He's
the
a-
mystery might be better than the
Yeah.
His
reality.
interview
probably.
was like that movie scene where somebody comes in and they're like, "So we start you off at $13 an hour." No, you're going to pay me $18 an hour.
Yeah.
And they're like, "I'd never
what?
pay anybody. Get the hell out of my office."
And he
All right.
backflips out.
And
Wait.
Goes in front of the door as he leaves, and then he just fucking dude. You have to.
Every
people
time
have
he
to
would
watch
start
that.
anew, because you could see he was doing routines, and every time he'd start anew, he would do a couple like shuffle steps, like the way somebody enters like a
break
breakdance.
dancing, yeah.
He would do a couple of those, and then he would just go for it, and I loved it. I
Oh,
loved it.
dude.
I wonder what music he was listening to. I have so many questions about
That's
this
what I'm
dude.
saying. I want that bonus.
So
content.
I'll tell you what, I'm grateful for this kid.
All right.
Wow.
I'm grateful for him.
It's good to know he's out there.
Yeah, man.
All right, third gratitude. This it's an obvious one. It's probably one that you two would guess. I'm grateful
Board
for
games. Board games.
Close. Dungeons and Dragons, which it's like been so. I played it. I was not
Said
allowed to
no
play.
obvious ones.
Hey, you didn't guess. He said board games. No, it's been great. Like I wasn't allowed to play it as a kid because my mom thought it made people kill themselves.
This is like satanic.
Yeah.
In your mom's eyes. That's not a
Apparently,
joke.
there's like a Tom Hanks movie in the '80s where a guy like kills himself because he's obsessed with a game that's like Dungeons and Dragons, and apparently that Tom Hanks movie bled into popular culture, so that moms everywhere were forbidding their kids from playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, it is true. It will kill you, but it's later on when the lung cancer from Jarm cigarettes, when the clove cigarettes actually
He's
take
right.
hold.
Ben's right about that.
I told you not to bring up my clove habit.
But it smells great in here.
But it's been great, and I mean, it's fun to play it. It's something that Amelia loves doing. So it's like probably the first activity. We have other activities that we share interest in, but this one, we are both like deep in nerd level. We're sitting around reading our Dungeons and Dragons books. We go to the hobby shop. We're just like the two fucking king dorks in this hobby shop walking around, and is trying not to drink, having an activity that's like pairs perfectly with not drinking. Like anyone who drinks while they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, it's just not as good. their brain isn't firing as quickly. They're not making up cool shit, more than likely. Maybe there's some exceptions. But it's an activity that rewards a sober brain, like improvising anything. You're improvising a shitload of stuff while you're playing, and it rewards you for, like, not drinking. So, like, spending hours and hours and hours doing that, it's like you don't, it's a great, like, sober activity, which I would recommend to anybody.
But I think Bukowski, who was an avid D&Der, not a lot
But he
of people
sucked
do
at it, dude. But he sucked.
One of the most prolific DMs of our generation. Not many
You're in a
people-
tavern every time. I feel like the tavern
Bukowski-
setting is overused, Bukes.
It's pretty bleak. It's all bleak.
There's a bar wench. She's all right for tonight.
Bukowski as a DM would be hilarious.
That should be a whole new account. Bukowski playing Dungeons
man.
and Dragons.
Yeah, just
my
these
God.
bleak career mead alcoholics.
Oh, my God. That's
Another horn of your strongest ale. Are we
You-
going to go anywhere in this adventure, or does the whole thing take place in the tavern?
You encounter a fellow postman. He removes a small knife, but he's too drunk to wield it.
It's one of the funniest things ever.
Oh, shit.
Bukowski.
He was the prolific DM.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That I make fun of the Dungeons and Dragons thing. I mean, I played it constantly when I was in middle school and even in early high school, I would say. Probably high school. And we played it. I mean, the longest campaign, I think we played one time for like 25 hours straight or 24 hours.
Dude,
We
that's
sat in
insane.
my buddy's basement and just played this campaign, trying to level our characters up as much as possible.
yeah.
And I had Macros, an 18th level mage.
Nice.
And he did pretty well for me for a while until it
Nice.
fucking
We played
killed
7
him.
hours yesterday.
Really?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
That's the thing. You lose time very quickly.
Oh, even the smallest things can take forever because you can do anything. And
Right.
people are like, I'm going to go over here and chop down a flower. It's like, okay, well, we're waiting for you to do that.
When we all lived in L.A., when we were at Studio City, Katie would play with Morgan and John Michael Bond and Jordan Dahl and Andy Sell, and they'd play at our house. And so I'd hear them in the living room, and I would literally pick up I'd like walk out to get my laptop and go watch the Rockies game in another room. It was like, sports nerds.
The older sibling.
Yeah. It's like, you fucking
It-
still
it-
out here.
And I lost interest in it somewhere along
When you
the
started
way.
having sex.
Yeah. That does seem to be an eerie
But I've been
similarity
trying
between a lot
for
of
a long time
of
to use the
teenage
D&D to get access to sex, and for some reason it wasn't working.
Interesting. And you changed tactics.
Yeah,
And it happened.
I started skateboarding and playing in bands, and
hack.
it's a really good one, and I get the appeal of it.
No, for sure. It's a creative, fun game.
Bukowski as a DM should be.
That's another
We'll
idea.
do that as in the page.
That's the new boy crazy.
He would have had sex with a fence knot if he.
If he could get it up.
You failed that attack roll due to the whiskey diarrhea. That's dropped you to your knees.
causing you to curse the heavens.
A beam of sunlight peeks through the blinders, rendering you incapacitated for a day and a half.
Now you just have to sit there for a full day and a
Yeah.
half in
Yep.
the campaign,
Because of the light,
Getting
'cause
drunk.
the sunlight.
and you're depressed because your first girlfriend was hit by a car.
Jesus Christ.
I love this game.
Holy shit. All right.
Husky D&D is fucking great.
Okay, my last. It seems silly. I am thankful for the combination of scrambled eggs, fresh spinach, and a fresh avocado.
Wow. This is another fucking product placement for IHOP. We told you, you have to share that money
Their
with us.
health scrambles
You
are
have
to
to
die
share
for.
that
Not
They're
fair.
fucking money with
Just
us.
hear
Not
me
fair that
out.
it withholds it from us.
Listen, hear me out. Their new their new slogan,
Fresh
it's
AMs.
to live for. Now, how funny is that? They
You
turned
come
that
to
into-
in an IHOP after 2.5 days. Some assholes got spinach and avocado in front of you. You kick it to the street, have a cigarette and a piece of bacon.
I eat this every morning. Put a little Frank's Red Hot on it. I was eating it, and I was like, this. I love this. Like,
Fuck yeah, man. This is nice. We're appreciating the small
I
things.
was saying to Crystal, we always do that thing. Island, like, what's the food you would eat every day if you could? That. I would eat
That's
that.
a good meal. It's got your
every-
greens, your fats,
Yeah,
healthy
and I-
fats,
and
protein.
Yeah,
a good meal.
Man, do I fucking love that. That's what I have for breakfast.
I have a
every
similar
morning.
almost everyday breakfast meal. It's fried tater tots that I smash, sausage, eggs, and cheese, and I make breakfast tacos. Not quite as healthy, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it is. But that's what. Will you have that almost every morning?
I probably would. Yeah.
What'd you have
I
this
don't know.
morning?
I had egg sandwiches on English muffin.
What do you? You're a cereal guy, right, Adam?
Yeah,
But at night, he likes the cereal at night.
Yeah, most mornings I do like granola and yogurt and berries, raspberries,
really?
blueberries. It's like a little parfait. I make myself a little parfait.
That's-
Honey, put some honey in there.
Is that like your?
That's my standard
That's
breakfast.
your standard breakfast.
Yeah.
Because I know whenever I used to come to your house, you always had cereal.
Oh, we have some. I always have cereal. I have cereal at night, like you said. I eat cereal at night.
That's your night snack.
Yeah. Or if like I don't have shit around for lunch, it's like, all right, cereal for lunch. Like my parents are out of town.
Yeah. Home Alone?
Yep, exactly.
Your baby's crying upstairs.
Not another goddamn bowl of Frosted Flakes again.
All right.
Yeah,
it's good to
like,
recognize a simple.
I could eat that every day. It's a good combination. Do not, and if anybody's going to try it, don't put the spinach in like an omelet. Leave it fresh and cold and crunchy. And then you put the warm eggs, and then you get the kind of room temperature avocado. Oh, that's the best stuff. I could eat that all the time, and I'm thankful for that. Fuck yeah.
man. Fuck
All right.
yeah.
What's your last one?
It was a thing that happened to me, which is kind of serious, but it's like too crazy to not share. So I did a gig for Colorado Health Institute. They had me in to talk about mental illness and stuff. And it was like a lot of policymakers, like government people. I was nervous about it, but I did a little bit of my show, my one-man show about my losing my sister to suicide and all that stuff. Afterwards, they had me sign books that they had bought. It was very nice. People were lining up to get the book signed. One man came up to me and said that his sister is schizophrenic, has been dealing with her for years. He doesn't even talk to her. It's been so frustrating. But because of my performance, he's going to call her. And I was like, well, that's awesome. And then he got out of line, and I was like, that's cool. And then he kept back in line. He's like, I called her. We're going to get together. And he like got a book for her and got it signed. And I was like, I think there's been a lot of weird, humbling moments with this one-man show. When you start talking about shit this serious, it's like people want to share with you. But that was like a Home Alone moment. He told the neighbor, call your family. And he totally did, and they reunited, or they're going to reunite. So that was like a stop, and like, and I don't want to take this podcast in a weird direction, but with a lot of the Lydia stuff, people come up to me after I do my show, and they share all these things, and I don't feel it at all. I'm just like, I'm sorry you suffered. I say the right things, but it doesn't like hit me. And that one hit me. I was like, oh fuck, this guy just like chose to re-engage with his mentally ill sister after 20 minutes of my stuff. So that was like, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for them that he's got an attempt at getting back with his sister or whatever.
I can't, I don't think anybody will ever be able to quantify exactly how much what you're doing is doing for people. And I know for myself, we were all close to Lydia.
Yeah.
And
that can't be easy to do a show that is that personal, and then have people come up and be like,
tear their
let me
hearts
just
out.
tell you.
Yeah, they unload so much shit on you afterwards. And you'd be rude to complain about that because I just gave them my soul.
Yeah.
And they've gone through something like that, and they're like, I want to share. But it is a lot because, there's one of you and there's 100 of them in the room, and a lot of them want to tell you this heavy crap. So it's a lot to take on. But that one, so it just kind of becomes white noise. But that one like got through for sure. And like, it sounds cheesy to be like, I'm making a difference. I hate that shit. I never set out to do this show. It's more for me than anything else.
yeah,
but
it was
like
catharsis.
cathartic for me. But that one, I was like, fuck, that really got to that dude.
Yeah.
So I'm like happy for him and his sister.
I mean,
cool.
it's got to me when I saw it, and we've talked about that when we all had an experience when we watched you perform and when we watched you reading the book and watched you tell this story. It's had a profound effect on me, and I don't have a sibling that is struggling in that manner. And so I can only imagine when somebody goes there to like, and then they see their own family in that. Like, I wonder, That had to have been hard for that person to do.
I'm sure it was very hard for him, and that's why I got through. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I don't talk about where people share shit like that, but that one was very profound, and I was genuinely grateful for that. In that moment, I was like, "This is great. Good for you, dude."
I think it's. I know we both talked about this. I know personally, talking about sobriety, the amount of people that unload their sad sobriety stories on me in private messages or in person, or want me to help them, and there's this weird feeling of like, that's not why I did this. I'm not a therapist. Right, this is my therapy.
Exactly. And almost like what I had to give was talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't have any little secret nuggets for you that I can give you on the side. I don't.
But simply talking is
right. Just letting them say what they have to say and hearing them is all.
Yeah.
All you can do.
Dude.
But that was one that got through to me. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, thank you for telling me. And like I said, it was like Home Alone. It's like you tear up when the old man with the shovel sees his family on Christmas morning. You're like, all right. It felt like that for me.
I want to add one more as a cap related to this.
Are you trying to out Adam just had such a good one?
No.
He's like, I did a show.
No. And a person
if there's
came
a winner,
up to me,
it's dogs.
and he said that he was going to call his strange story.
I feel like you're just fabricating this.
No, I'm not. He said I did
let
a bit.
the moment be. It doesn't have to be a competition.
I wrote down that I'm grateful that this is becoming whatever it is becoming.
Yeah, man.
And I think it relates to this because you were like, I don't want to bring the mood. No, bring it wherever. Like we're always going to come back, I'm sure, to laughing about something. But I'm grateful that this is becoming that it can be whatever it is going to be, whatever tone it takes. Because honestly, I didn't know where doing these Gratitoodies.
I knew you'd come around.
It's like Ratatouille, but plural.
No, I don't. I'm not into it still. Yeah. But I like knowing that it keeps your eyes open for things and for fodder for this or for thoughts that relate to challenges and ideas, because that's certainly profound.
Well, thanks, man. I had one that I will share as a good closer. I was grateful to Orvidal for hosting all the fucking time, because I wrote that down when we left after the first one, because I don't want to do this. I
don't want you guys in my house.
I'm not as gregarious an entertainer. I don't like it as much, but Andrew always has snacks and make me coffee, and I appreciate you hosting us every time. Man.
Dude, hell yeah.
It's funny, Ron and I were talking about being late to the podcast, and I was like feeling smug that I was never late, and then I had to remind myself, it's at my house.
Will you continue it?
I might jot things down when I see them. I don't know why, but they can turn into bits, or I don't know. It feels like a good observation.
I have one to add. This was actually on my classic list back when I had the fridge list before I caused a big rift in my relationship. You know who was on that list? Ron Doyle. I think he may have also been above my girlfriend on that list. Not only for Ron's help with the... could have also been one of the sore spots.
Ball boy Ron Doyle?
But no, Ron, not only with this podcast, he helps out with so many.
I know. I texted Ron when we left after this one.
He's just a hero.
I texted him I said, thanks for doing all you do. And he's like, you're cheating on the podcast
of the Denver creative scene. So
you know what's funny? I feel nothing for
Really?
Nothing
at all?
I don't have any... No,
I appreciate your honesty.
No,
it's pretty...
I mean, I'm indifferent.
You could have just played along just to be nice in the moment.
I mean, I know I'm honestly thinking, had I been born without human contact... I probably wouldn't have gained any weight.
Here we go again.
He touched me. I don't know that he...
This has been the Gratitoodies episode of The Grolic Saves the World. We hope that you are grateful for things in your life and you
can share them with us.
And you can send them to us if you have you know what I'm grateful for?
We won't be as mean about yours
Canadian
as we were.
Honking, and I'll be like, fuck yeah. We'll listen to some more comedy, and then we'll tell you what we're doing for the next episode after this.
Do you guys like Trader Joe's? Real fun segue there. Love Joe's. Big Joe's head. We don't have it in Canada. I get very excited. Cashing out in LA. See the one cashier waving me down. I'm like, he's flirting. I don't know how things work. And I walk up, and he's like, so? I'm like, again, don't know how to flirt. And he grabs a giant tub of feta I'm buying, scans it. He's like, I'm like, am I what? He's like, are you making that dip again? My reaction is, I'm like, excuse me? He's like, the dip. Are you making it again? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on right now, buddy. I'm like, are you still talking to me? This is fucked up. He's like, you came in here a year ago. This is real. And told me all about this lentil, feta, and bruschetta dip. I make it at every party. I'm like, are you sucking the inside of my ass right now, sir? What the hell's going on? I've lived in LA for 4 years now, haven't been recognized once. The only time a man remembered my face was over a dip recipe that I forced him to listen to at Trader Joe's. I'm like, I'm meeting men terribly wrong in the city. Just gonna start finding open Facebook events and making a vat of dip and showing up like, you boys hungry? It's a public event, thought I'd stop by. Found this barrel down by the LA River. Turns out a lot of dip fits inside here. Slaved over it all night. If the joke isn't funny, the barrel work is, though. Am I right? Like, it's like the bit sucks, but the barrel work, A+ barrel work, I'll tell you that. Big barrel work in Canada. That's how we all get started. Your first audition, they roll one out. You're like, okay, here we go.
Holy shit. Steph Telev is so goddamn funny.
What a monster.
So good.
I'm so glad she came out. Steph, we had a blast with you. It was fun going to Spells, drinking Coors Banquet beers, watching Ben do his thing back when we could go out. And this would normally be the time when I'd plug the live show. But as I said, we can't go out. We're quarantined. We're staying safe. We're doing our part. So we hope you are as well. So if you just want some Grawlix content, we all got albums. Go listen to them. Enjoy our comedy and stay safe out there, guys.
Real quick, we want to plug our Patreon. If you already support us on there, thanks a million. If you want to check it out, we've got all kinds of cool bonus stuff on there. We even have video footage of the last episode's jiu-jitsu battle. If you want to see what all of the huffing and puffing was about, check it out.
Or not. You just could not watch that as well.
No, you got to go watch it.
Check it out. Patreon.com/GrawlixSaves.
That's right. And you can also listen and subscribe to this podcast for free anywhere that you get your podcasts. Be sure to do that. Also, rate and review this. And feel free to follow us on Twitter at Grawlix Comedy.
This is also the point where I thank Mike Henderson for his help recording the live show, but that didn't happen. So, Mike, no thanks. But just stay safe out there. And to Bat Boy Ron Doyle, thanks for producing these episodes, buddy. Hey, can I get the keys to the batter's box?
Oh, that's great.
We have fun. We have fun on the podcast.
As always, our theme music is brought to you by that incredibly talented Charlie Continental.
And I have to tease up the next challenge because just everybody sit down and shut the fuck up. Because I'm being serious. I'm not going to reveal how. I'm not going to reveal why. But for next week's episode, we watch all 9 Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, Andrew, fire up that Hemi. Turn that Hemi on.
Hit the NOS and join the FNFU, the Fast and the Furious universe, because we watched all 9 fucking films. And if you want to follow the academic breakdown that we do in next episode, why don't you start watching those movies right now? You got nothing else to do. Sit at home. Flatten the curve.
Don't get left in life's rearview mirror. Catch up.
I'm telling you, you all have to do this so that when we go through it, you can laugh with us. Listen to Adam, follow along, and that's it. This is honestly my favorite part of every show. I'm not going to lie to you. It's when I get to say, play us out, Charlie.
Are there any heroes left at all? A few strong souls that pick us up when we fall down. We looked around for those rare kinds of clothes, but the best we did was these dumb trucks that town big jokes. We're getting fixed, our worries are nixed. Let's have some kick while the Grawlix says we're getting